There's a power within you. It lifts your life to its highest level. It brings success, companionship, happiness, health, and peace of mind. As you tap into this power, it will respond to you because this power is within you. And that's why spirituality rocks. I'm your host, Janine Burns, and I teach practical spirituality. My goal with this show is to bring you nationally renowned guests that will inspire you to uncover your divine nature. And these guests will help you to expand your consciousness and teach you skills for life mastery. And to this end, I have two fantastic guests with me today. Via Skype from Chicago, we have later on in the show the empowerment doctor, Stephanie Wilson-Coleman. And in the beginning of our show, via Skype from Indiana, we have Reverend Barbara Gulbranson. I want to do a little business, though, and let you know about a couple of things coming up. If you check out www.Gold Rush Women's Conference, you will see that in Chicago, March 13th through the 15th, a 3-day conference that is absolutely fantastic. It's amazing. I'm going to be one of the session speakers. I look forward to it. It's an opportunity for you to come and really have a connection with a lot of other women in a very supportive environment where you can really learn and grow. So we'll be talking more about that later in the show. GoldRushWomen'sConference.com. And you can also check out newthought.org. And at newthought.org, you will find the affiliated New Thought Network. And what they're up to is a cruise in consciousness. That's from April 16th through the 20th. And you can sign up. There's still cabins left. We have, I think 85 people are already going on the cruise. So you're going to be in an environment with a lot of like-minded individuals. It's going to be fantastic. Dr. Sheila McKeithen is our keynote speaker. And we will be featuring Jean Sweet, Martha Creek, who's been on the show, so has Jean Sweet. And Sunny Bohm has been with us as well. So that is going to prove to be a fantastic cruise in consciousness Cozumel. So check it out. Also, our website is up, spiritualityrockstv.com, spiritualityrockstv.com. So let's jump right in with 2 feet. I want to introduce to you a fantastic guest. She's a spiritual coach. She's a good friend of mine, very wise woman. She's helped me out and been so supportive with so many of my personal projects, whether I'm speaking to somewhere across the nation or whether it's the TV show. She's always there to support me. And she has a couple of really terrific books. Today we're going to focus on just one of them. But one of her great books is Live Your Joy. And what I like about this Live Your Joy book, How to Awaken from Spiritual Slumber, it's a book that is a great primer. It's a basic book if you want to learn basic spiritual principles, if you want to learn how to overcome challenges, if you want to learn how to eliminate fear from your life, and if you want to learn how to transform drama, which is one of the chapter titles, you can learn how to do affirmative prayer. Fantastic book, so I invite you to check it out. Today, though, being that Valentine's Day 2015 is this coming Saturday, we are going to talk about soulmates. Barbara's very well-selling book, How to Attract Your Soulmate, The Secrets of Lasting Love, is what we're focusing on today. And so I would like to introduce to the show my friend, an incredible truth teacher, a prolific author, the Reverend Barbara Gulbranson. Welcome to Spirituality Rocks.
Hi, Janine. It's a pleasure to be here again. Thank you.
Yes. Now, I want you all to know that Barbara is the founder of Live Your Joy Institute. So you can go to liveyourjoy.org and check out more information about her work. But for now, I want you to know about her joy newsletters. So if you sign up on the internet, you can get the monthly joy newsletters, which I like that it's a good, solid spiritual food. But I don't really like it when I receive a lot of things all the time, you know. I like that you have your once-a-month letter. But let's jump into your book, How to Attract Your Soulmate, Secrets to Lasting Love. I would like to know, how do you define a soulmate? So many people give different definitions. How do you define a soulmate?
Well, a soulmate is somebody, a soulmate relationship is when you have a very strong and deep connection with somebody that is just totally deep. And it's based on the premise that you have been with this soulmate for many lifetimes. And then you're coming together in this lifetime, you recognize the soulmate immediately because you've been together in the past and now you're together again.
Fantastic. And so I'm sure that's a stretch for some people, but I think it's a fantastic idea if you do believe in reincarnation. And I like that idea. It makes me feel good. It's a feel-good idea. Now, how then do soulmates come together?
How do they come together? You mean how did they originate as soulmates?
Yeah.
Okay, well, when we're on the other side, before we're born, you're in groups of clusters with other souls waiting to take form on Earth. And these other souls that you are with are your soulmates. And then when you see them on Earth, there's an instant recognition.
Fantastic. So, in other words, that's why when you meet somebody and you feel an instant connection, it's because they're your soulmate?
Right, like you might feel love at first sight, or you might feel some kind of incredible pull by looking at a glint in their eye or a mannerism, because you've known them on the other side. Now, if you don't believe in reincarnation or any of that, you could still use all of the tools in the book.
Okay, so
because you don't have to believe in reincarnation or anything like that to use the tools in the book. These are just the technical definitions of what a soulmate is. It's beyond a regular man-woman relationship. It's deeper. It's on a soul level. You instantly recognize and feel a pull towards the person.
And so then, how do you actually attract a soulmate?
Well, there's many tools in the book on how to do this, and when we're talking about spiritual principles, it's just so divine and sacred. We're able to have a conscious relationship where we're awake and aware, and it's unconditional love. The number one key for finding a soulmate, which I cherish as the number one key, is to ask Archangel Chamuel to help you. Archangel Chamuel is the Archangel of Love, and he will help you find a soulmate. And I've seen this time and again, people who I've recommended this, it happens very quickly. Now, Archangel Chamuel will also help you get rid of negative self-talk. He'll help you get rid of depression or grieving or sorrow. He'll help you with forgiveness. And all of these are important points in trying to attract a soulmate. You want to forgive. You want to get past your grief if you've lost a loved one. So that's the number one key for finding a soulmate.
Terrific. And I know you actually wrote a book about angels. It's an ebook. Tell us a little bit about that book, please.
That book is called Angel Talk, 5 Easy Steps for Connecting with Your Angels. And it has an easy 5-step program on how to connect with your angels that anyone can do. Now, there are other ways to attract a soulmate. I love to tell everyone about Archangel Chamuel first and foremost.
Okay.
But another very important way is to understand how the law of attraction works. It's not opposites attract. It's like attracts like. So everything that you think, where your thought is centered, what you desire, everything in the universe conspires to make it so. So we want to think positively. We want to know that what we desire is seeking us. And when we put those good intentions into the universe, everything attracts what we need to find a soulmate. So we want to use that law of attraction consciously.
Okay, that was a lot in one little section there, and that's fantastic. So then you would say, apparently, then if you did want to attract a soulmate, you have to really change your thinking if you don't have a soulmate right now.
Exactly. Change your thinking. Focus on, there's even an exercise in the book called Focus on the Positive. What are you focusing on? Are you focusing on, I'm too old, or I'm way too much? Are we focusing on that, or are we focusing on the positive? I am worthy of a soulmate. Love is mine by my divine birthright. We want to focus on these things. God knows how to unite me with my soulmate. So then we're putting the law of attraction to work for us in a very good way.
And you know what I like about your book? Your book is really a workbook. You have, you teach meditation, and you have a section here where you help the reader get clarity on what they would like in a soulmate.
Right, because you want to be clear on what you would like in a soulmate, and we're not talking about blue eyes, blonde hair. We're talking about the qualities we want in a person. For example, a good sense of humor, or likes nature, whatever's important to you. not so much as what the package looks like. We want the qualities. And then we want to say, what do I bring to the relationship? What do I bring? Do I bring love? Do I bring compassion, empathy, a good sense of humor? Because it's also about what we have to give in love, not as much as what we take. So that's very important to focus on. What do I have to offer this soulmate?
Really, I like that a lot because, you know, we live in a world of get, get, get. So it's nice to hear about what I have to offer. And it was Judge Judy who said beauty fades. So to be able to make a connection with someone on a deep soul level is just so wonderful.
And you know the story about Elizabeth Barrett Browning, she was, and Robert Browning, she was very unattractive, very sickly, much older than him. And because he loved her on a soul level, he didn't even see those things because it was a soulmate connection.
That's amazing because we live in a society where the media has gotten hold so much of, about appearance. They've just held on to that, and you have to look a certain way. And I just read that there's a swimsuit model, and they're calling her a plus-size model because she wears a size 12, which in the United States, that's the national average size. And it is not someone who's really full-figured. I mean, she's gorgeous and really very hot and sexy. And but yeah, there's a whole focus on that appearance.
And we want to, and because of that especially, we want to focus on cultivating our inner beauty so that that inner beauty shines through. And that's what's attractive to a person. You know, you could be technically beautiful and not attract a soulmate because it's that inner beauty that radiates, which is why I recommend meditation. Because meditation, you're cultivating the divine within you, and you become compassionate and loving, and people, not just a man, people in general, humanity responds to that beauty within you. And you're like a light that shines. And that is beautiful.
That is beautiful. I like that so much. You know what? I want to take a commercial break, just a brief one. And then I want to come back and talking about mastering the mechanics of your mind, which is huge because, you know, sometimes we think that our thinking is in charge of us rather than us being in charge of our thinking. So stay tuned. We'll be back in just a brief commercial break with more of Spirituality Rocks.
My name is Dr. Robert Brevard. I'm here for Multi-Medicine in Westbury, New York. We're located at 1065 Old Country Road, Suite 214. Been here for about 15 years. The practice has medical doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, acupuncturists. We also do pain management, and we have orthopedists on staff. Here at Advanced Multi-Medicine Rehabilitation, we've got physical therapists on staff who treat an array of conditions, from neck pain to back pain, shoulder pain. We treat carpal tunnel. We treat a lot of car accident patients, slip and falls. We treat patients with knee injuries, with ankle injuries. We have state-of-the-art equipment. We've been here for over 15 years. Vast array of diagnostic testing, from x-rays to EMGs. What is an EMG? It's a diagnostic test that allows a doctor to determine where the pinched nerve is. Cora is a physical therapist at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. She's working on Stephanie, who was involved recently in an automobile accident. Stephanie has tight thoracic and cervical musculature, and Cora is doing some myofascial release work and some therapeutic stretching, doing it to help her with her pain. Vicky is also a patient here at Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation. Vicky is now working her leg muscles, specifically her quadricep muscles, trying to strengthen them after an injury she sustained. If you find yourself in need of any type of physical therapy, please don't hesitate to call Advanced Multi-Medicine and Rehabilitation, located in Westbury, New York, in Suite 214. Phone number is 516-334-7000, or find us on our website at advancedmultimedicine.com.
We're going to do a live commercial. Hi, I'm Renee Marie. I'm the president of Language of Love Incorporated Foundation. I'm really happy to tell you that we're going to be doing a Language of Love telethon on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Please look for the location on my website, reneemarielanguageoflove.org. And once again, it's reneemarielanguageoflove.org. And the show will be hosted on the Madhouse TV. It really is important for you to be aware of strokes and aphasia. Strokes is the third leading cause of death in America and the first leading cause of disability. And it really is something that plays no favoritism. And it also really comes when you're not expecting. Nobody expects to have a stroke, and nobody expects to suffer from aphasia, and it really does make a huge impact in your life and change your life in one split second. So we look forward to having everyone join us once again on March 29, 2015 from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. And you can follow us on reneemarielanguageoflove.org. Once again, it's reneemarielanguageoflove.org. And we look forward to seeing you. God bless.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. Excited today to be with my dear friend and prolific author, the Reverend Barbara Gulbranson. She wrote How to Attract Your Soulmate, The Secrets of Lasting Love. And the reason that she can write about this is because she's living this. And what's so exciting is all the terrific methods and steps in the book to help you to shift your consciousness, because we know here at Practical Spirituality, when you change your thinking, you will change your life. Reverend Barbara, one thing I really like here is your whole section on keeping a watch on my thoughts. And what I like about that is you have an actual worksheet and you give thoughts that we think, like negative thoughts, such as, I'm not interesting, who would want me, or I'm overweight, or I'm old, or my face is wrinkled, or all the good women are gone, all the good men are gone, or on and on and on. And you have us look, do I think this thought sometimes? Do I think this thought often? Or do I think this thought never? And I think that's a wonderful, because it's a barometer of how you think. And so I like this. And so why did you decide to put this in here? What's the key to this?
The key to this is to exactly what you said, Janine, to change your thinking. If you find that you're thinking any of those negative things, even if it's occasionally, you want to stop that thought right when it comes up and to replace it with an affirmation. The people who watch your show probably already know what affirmations are. They're powerful statements of truth, because that's not the truth about you. For example, I'm too old. That's not the truth about you at all. The truth is that you are a vibrant child of God and you are worthy of a relationship. So if you this age, you could get married at any age. You could attract a soulmate at any age. It's timeless. So you want to stop that negative thinking and replace it with an affirmation. And eventually that affirmation will be ingrained in your mind, and you will see the result change in your life. Change your thinking, change your life, just like what you've been saying.
And I like in the book you said, if you find yourself thinking this negative thought, just stop it. And instead to think a new belief, a new thought, a new idea, and then, you'll then ultimately have positive thoughts. So what you wrote is, remember, you're a beautiful child of God and God loves you. There is someone looking for someone just like you, and Spirit knows where that person is right now. That's very comforting for those looking for a relationship.
Spirit knows where that person is and will bring you together. That person could be on the other ends of the earth. I know a woman that was affirming, I am in a loving and passionate relationship with a man. She didn't know who the man was or where he was. She just affirmed that. And lo and behold, unexpectedly, he just showed up in her life. So Spirit and God will do the work. Your work is in your own mind, planting those good thoughts, planting those positive thoughts, and let it go, and God will unite you with your soulmate, because someone is looking for someone just like you. We don't want to block the attainment of that good.
Fantastic. And so you do talk about transcending negative energy with a meditation. You give an actual meditation that you can visualize, so you could record it and then listen back to it on your cell phone, or you could just read it and do it. And it's a beautiful beach meditation. How did you come up with these? Why do you promote these?
I just come up with these as I'm guided by God. A lot of the steps in the book are from my own personal experience of how I met my soulmate 22 years ago. I was using positive prayer, which is described in the book, and I was not in a relationship, but I was using positive prayer. I had given up on dating, but I wanted a relationship. And then one night after saying the prayer, I felt that it was done. In fact, I heard something internally, my inner voice say, "It is done." And then the person that was my soulmate moved into the apartment next door to me, and he said he was drawn to that apartment. And then we met, and a soulmate relationship developed. All I had to do was say the prayer and put the law in motion. God did the rest. God brought him to my next door apartment so we could meet. All I had to do was my work in my own mind and in my own heart. And that's how it works. We say the prayer, we do the affirmation, and God does the rest.
It's fantastic. Another thing in the book that I think it's important and significant to point out is, as you said before, not just looking about what can I get, what do I have to offer? And you actually have us take a profile of ourselves and a really honest appraisal of what our character traits are, what we have to offer, as well as our interest. And you really make an emphasis upon accepting and loving yourself the way you are.
That's a key point. If we don't love ourselves and we're critical of ourselves and unkind to ourselves, how could we possibly be in a place to love somebody else unconditionally? And unconditional love is giving love without asking for anything in return. So we really want to work on ourselves. And one way to do that also is to serve humanity. Because when you're serving humanity or creation, the animals or other people, you radiate joy. And so we're always giving love. And in that giving of love, we attract love to us. So I say you should live your authentic life, fulfill your life's purpose, because this makes you vibrant and alive, serve humanity, release the past. All these things make you radiate love, and that's attractive.
Well, yes, love is a magnetic force. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I have a question about, back to soulmates. Can you have more than one soulmate?
Yes, you can. Now, you can have, just for example, say your spouse makes their transition to the other side. Yes, you can have another soulmate, because remember, the technical definition was before you were born, you were with a group of souls. These are all your soulmates. Your soulmate, we're talking about romantic love here, but you can have a soulmate that's not romantic. For example, a sister you're very close to, a friend, a colleague. These can be soulmates too. And we're focusing on a life partner and true love. But soulmate is a deep connection and bond between two people, and it's sacred. So it's not limited to just the opposite sex.
And it's not just limited to romance. A lot of people think soulmate as a romantic connection, and it's not necessarily true. And so in the book you do say, write down what qualities you want in a mate, interest, but you also say avoid telling God or spirit who that person is or how you meet that person. And in the book you call that outlining. And you get
right. Because I've had a client come to me and ask me to pray for him to be united with this particular woman. And you can't do that because you don't know. So what you do is when you do your prayer treatment or your positive prayer or your affirmations, you want to put the qualities, because Spirit knows who that person is. And it could be very well be the person you have in mind or not. But it's the qualities you're looking for. It's laughter, fun, enjoys the beach, whatever is important to you. I'm just naming things. Not so much a specific person. Put your qualities out to the universe, and you will attract. Spirit knows who to put you with, and that will happen. I think my list was something like likes hiking, good communicator, sensitive, things like that were on my list. And I didn't know who. Spirit knew who it was. And I got exactly that.
That's fantastic. In the book, you say, keep on praying. And would you mind if I read one of the prayers out of the book?
Oh, go ahead.
This is fantastic. This is on page 78, and it says, keep on praying. The one universal love is expressing by means of me now. I recognize that I'm born of God, therefore, God's love for me is unconditional. I receive this eternal love and extend it to my partner and everyone I meet. With an endless spirit of giving, I give with joy and allow God's love to flow through me. I am guided by Spirit in all situations and know how to nurture and nourish my partner in the best way possible. Joyfully, this love, which comes to me from the one source, comes back to me as well. I lovingly see any challenges as a gift for my greater growth and trust in God's healing power. When I look upon creation, I see God in full manifestation. I'm grateful for this relationship, this love, this harmony, which is God ordained. I release my word to the universal law, which backs it with power, and with a grateful heart, I accept that it is done, and so it is. That's a beautiful prayer for a mate, Barbara. Thank you.
Thank you for reading that.
I love that you have a piece here on forgiveness, and you have a forgiveness release exercise. That is so important because, forgiveness, Emmett Fox said that forgiveness is if you have someone that you have angst against or an issue with, that you are attracted to that person with a strong mental bond, stronger than steel. And so the very person you just want to release and have out of your life, you're strongly connected to. And so you do a beautiful relaxation meditation where you speak to the person and release them. It's fabulous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, you can't move forward if you're holding a grudge in your heart. So the forgiveness releases you from that grudge and that hurt.
Well, I have to say this is a comprehensive manual. People want to check out and find a soulmate. This is the book to read. I love that at the end you told some actual love stories. They're so beautiful. And you gave some love poems. It's great. So I want to say that I bless you, I praise you, I appreciate you. The Reverend Barbara Gulbranson, I'd just like to remind you, what is the name of your ebook?
Angel Talk, 5 Easy Steps for Connecting with Your Angels.
I've read that book. I love that book. The prayers in that book are amazing, and it's a easy to read book, easy to understand. That is an ebook, so if people want that, they can get it right away. They can go to liveyourjoy.org, liveyourjoy.org, and they can pick that up. Or if they want a real primer that's more comprehensive about how to change your thinking and change your life, then you want to pick up Live Your Joy, How to Awaken from Spiritual Slumber. Love that title. And what we're talking about today, How to Attract Your Soulmate, The Secrets of Lasting Love, go to liveyourjoy.org and pick up this book. Barbara, I bless you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us on Spirituality Rocks.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Bye-bye now.
Okay, bye-bye.
Alrighty, so we are going to set up our Skype cameras for our next guest. We're going to have a very short break. This time even shorter than before. So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes, well, actually about a minute, with more of Spirituality Rocks. Bye.
$1.3 million women are victims of physical assault by an intimate partner each year. According to the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, the majority of cases aren't reported to the police. Most people who are in an abusive relationship don't even know they're in one. The truth is, all abusive relationships boil down to one thing: control.
How do you like it? My new dress.
Are you out of your mind? You look like a prostitute. We're not going out with you dressed up like that in public.
But what am I supposed to wear?
Wear something decent. You can't wear that out in public. We're going to be late. Get back in there and pick a different outfit. I'm going to go run some errands. I'll be back in 30 minutes. Please be ready, okay?
Fine, I'll change. Fine.
Abuse is not always physical, leaving wounds that are visible on the outside. Emotional abuse is just as painful, only these wounds are hidden on the inside.
Are you out of your mind? You're crazy. You look like a prostitute.
Know that abuse is abuse, no matter what the form.
Look at me.
Oh my God, what's wrong with me?
Physical abuse scars the body,
I just want him to love me.
but mental abuse scars the mind.
What you just saw was an example of a relationship that is emotionally abusive. Nobody has the right to tell you how to dress or how to act. If someone really cares for you, they won't tear you down. They will build you up.
How do you like it?
Wow. You look great. Fantastic. But then again, you look great all the time.
Thank you. I was hoping you'd like it. It's my new dress. I bought it just so we could go out tonight.
You look stunning.
Thank you. But I think I'm going to take a sweater just in case it gets cold tonight.
Great idea. I'm going to take one too. Let's go.
All relationships are not perfect, but a healthy relationship is when two people bring out the best in each other and have each other's good in mind. Take your time to know someone instead of rushing into something. It is better not to involve yourself with an abusive person than to try and get out of a domestic violence situation.
If someone is abusive to you and you need help, please call the Domestic Violence Hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-SAFE. They have highly trained experts available 24/7 who will speak with you confidentially and offer information regarding the unhealthy aspects of your relationship, resources, or immediate support for victims to find safety and live lives free of abuse. Domestic violence affects us all.
It affects us all.
It affects us all. 모두에게 영향을 줍니다.
Che ci ricarte tutte.
It affects us all.
Domestic violence.
We're back with more of Spirituality Rocks. I'm your host, Janine Burns, with another fantastic episode. And with me now from Chicago is the Empowerment Doctor. This is Stephanie Wilson-Coleman. Welcome to Spirituality Rocks.
It is a pleasure to be here.
I am so excited to meet you via Skype because I first met you last year at the Women's Gold Rush Conference. And if people want to check that out, they can go to www.womensgoldrushconference.com. And I heard you speak there, and you were dazzling. I remember, I could feel your energy when I was sitting there, you know, and I've been to so many conferences, I've heard so many speakers, and I heard you speak, and I sat up a little taller in my seat, and I was paying a little bit more attention, and I just enjoyed you so much. So I'm so delighted you can be with us on Spirituality Rocks.
I am so glad that you were able to see me at the conference, because that is one of the best conferences I've ever had the opportunity to be a part of. And I'm really happy to meet you and be on your show.
Thank you so much. And you know what I like about that conference? It's only 3 days. So, you know, I don't have to really change my whole life. boom, you go Friday, boom, Sunday afternoon, it's done. You come back empowered and you're flying high for weeks. Now, I want to talk to you. You have a beautiful website. It's called Champagne Connection. Woohoo! I love it. www.champagneconnection.com. How'd you come up with Champagne Connection?
I was doing some brainstorming years ago with a friend of mine who was actually a Unity minister, Emily Gillespie, and she said in a comment to me, she said, what you do is connect people to the things that they need to manifest in their lives so that they can have a good life, hence champagne. Okay,
the good
connection.
life.
So I connect you to anything that you think that you need in order for your life to work for you.
Wonderful. Now, they call you the empowerment doctor. How'd you ever get that, Nomer?
That was actually given to me by a group of women that I work with on a regular basis.
Uh-huh.
My life has been what I call a hard hat life. So I've overcome things such as homelessness, unemployment, a first divorce that kept me in financial run, and able to rebuild a life that actually works for me. It works for me financially, it works for me in relationship, and I simply would take the tools that I would learn and use in my own life and actually teach them to others. And they said that they were always so empowered by talking to me, so they nicknamed me the Empowerment Doctor.
Okay, so wow, so you're telling me that you were homeless. You were actually homeless.
Yes. Homeless, no place to live, didn't know where I was actually going to bathe or get my next meal.
Wow.
Luckily for me, it was a short period of time, but it was long enough.
Doesn't matter. A day is too long.
Any day is too long.
Yeah.
I was able to go back and remember what I learned and what I knew to be true about my life, and had to actually teach myself to believe that again. And once I started to believe that and to begin to work those principles in my life, my life was able to be transformed, and it was almost magical. Jobs came from places I didn't expect them to come from. Offers to move out of a homelessness situation into a home came, and I didn't expect that. It seemed to have been magic. It was wonderful.
You know, and isn't that true how, you know, Johnny Coleman, we've spoken about Johnny recently, she always said it works if you work it. And, you know, I think people love to talk about spiritual principles because they're fun to talk about. But to apply them, you have to actually, it works if you work it, and you have to be willing to work it. You have to be willing to study. You have to be willing to do affirmation. You have to be willing to do your prayer. You can't just, like, think. Unless maybe you've developed your consciousness to someone like Joel Goldsmith, and then where you're so living in the awareness and the presence of God that you can just think it happens. So that was rigorous then for you to make those changes.
Yes, it was. It required discipline, and that's one of the things that I teach. And you need discipline throughout all areas of your life, no matter what it is you want to accomplish. So it was my responsibility to unthink the thoughts that got me to where I was. No one can help you with that. I don't care how much counseling you do or coaching or empowerment. That was my responsibility, is to pick a better thought, to reach for a better vision, to use my imagination in a way that benefited me. And I, for so long, had been abusing it. In one of my books, I write that we participate in these imaginations, these flights of fancy, of homelessness, and we often talk about things like, oh, what it would be like if I did this, and we don't understand that every conversation is a prayer. Every word that you utter is a prayer. So watch what you speak, because it will come true. Those are the things we put the passion behind. And there are those of us who don't talk about it, but we amen the other people who talk about it. And that's the same thing. You're agreeing that that's okay.
So what do you mean that if somebody was talking to you about, you know, some kind of horrible negative circumstance and doing that, and that, so then if you're talking with them, you're agreeing with them, is what you're saying?
A lot of us agree with that. We'll say things like, yeah, you're right, it's hard, I understand, I don't know how you can go through that. When what I generally ask people is, with that experience, what has become clear to you? What have you learned? What do you believe to be true based upon that experience? And that's a different conversation, because it helps people to regain control of their life and understand that they're not a victim, that there is something that they can do. And sometimes that something seems to be small because we always say start with a thought, start with gratitude, start with the mirror work, start with loving yourself. And those seem to be small changes. And a lot of times people think that they're too simple to make a difference, but thought makes a difference in absolutely everything. Everything starts with a thought. And that's where we have to start. So I try to get people back on that path, back to where their power is. Because you can never change what someone else thinks or what someone else does. But you can certainly change what you think and what you believe to be true about your life and what you are willing to accept.
Perfect. And I love the question there where you say, you know, what have I learned from this? Because, you know, sometimes we're so stuck in it, but if we begin to ask appropriate questions like that rather than, you know, why is it always like this? Why is everything so stinky? But to ask that, that's a Dr. Empowerment, that's an empowering question. That's great. That's great. You know, I did want to talk about your books. You too are a prolific author. You've written Embracing Life's Lessons, Journey to Inner Peace and Tranquility. Can we speak about that for just a moment?
Yes, that was actually my second book. And in that book, I finally began to learn how to live in the flow, to not force things, but go with whatever was happening in the moment, and to find what I call that wow moment. Find something in that day, in that place, that actually made me say, wow. In the book, I talk about some of the simple things, but those are some of the things that I remember that brought me the most peace, that would calm my mind. And when your mind is calm, you're able to listen to all of those divine promptings and nudgings that are coming your way that will let you know what to do next. The first book, Is Anybody Listening?, just simply talked about the fact that I felt for so long that people would hear me, but they weren't listening to me. And that was just a problem for me. And then as I began to write, I realized that I was the one not listening to my inner spirit, not listening to the divine nudges, not paying attention to all of the wonderful signs along the way. And once you begin to listen, life does really begin to flow a lot easier.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Downhill and uphill.
Oh, I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt. But let's talk about that for a second. You talk about being calm and being in the flow. How did you recognize these signs, if you will?
I discovered that I'm forcing it when I'm feeling a lot of stress and things just simply aren't working out and there's just one obstacle after another. As my mother would say, that means, girl, there's red flags all over that. So I've learned to stop and to look at what's going on and to ask the question, where am I going? What do I really want to happen in this situation? What would be the best for all parties involved? And then just simply get calm and quiet. Generally, it takes only a few minutes. And then Spirit will actually let you know what to do next. Things will calm around you. Everyone else will pick up on that calmer energy, and you'll know what to do next. Sometimes some people say it's a voice. For me, it's just kind of a knowing. Something just kind of sits inside of my stomach, and I just know what to do next, what the next step is. And as you take those steps, it's amazing, because as you take those steps, all of a sudden you realize, in my case anyway, I remember seeing that, or I remember that quick vision, or yeah, I'm in the right place, because there'll be all little signs along the way. Now, I tell people that I work with, and some people say, well, you know, I don't get signs. And I didn't get them at first. So I made a deal with Spirit. I says, if I'm on the right track, and I seem to not really realize it, my sign is 26 cents, a quarter, and a penny. That's what I want to see, God. And I am amazed at the number of times that out of the middle of nowhere, there is 26 cents, a quarter, and a penny. And that lets me know that I'm on the right track.
So you know, the Bible says, ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock on the door shall be opened unto you. So really what you did was said to God, the universe, Spirit, whatever you used to call your power, I want a sign.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. And I used to like to discern between having challenges and problems. You know, challenges you can work with, but like your mama used to say, when there's red flags all over that, you need to go in a different direction. And I think it's important to know that the universe doesn't give you guidance for something next week that you're doing this week. And that's what you said. You said about being calm in the flow. How do you get to be calm as you're walking? Let's say you're walking through a very challenging, difficult circumstance. How can you be calm in the flow?
One of the things that I've done recently is everyone has a smartphone pretty much. I have an hourly chime app that goes off with one little chime every hour. And what I do with that hour is I take 3 deep breaths. That's it, just deep breaths. And I find that those breaths are centering. And once I'm centered and still, I have found that calmness. It's almost like it was there. I was the one that moved, and those breaths bring me back to the calmness.
Love it.
And as I'm calm, then you just know what to do next. You're able to look at something and say, what's working, what's not working, and then you can say, why is this working, and why is this not working? And you have to take yourself out of it and use it as a learning moment. Sometimes we make everything so emotional. It's like it's all about me. They're out to get me. And no, a lot of times the process that you're using just needs to change.
Loving that. Love that a lot. And then, yes, I'm thinking about that chiming thing, and I think that's fantastic. And I'm a big fan of breathing exercises. I teach breathing, and it's the exhale. People think it's the inhale. You go, and they hold their breath. It's the exhale that allows you to flow. You know what you just made me think when you said that? A couple of weeks ago, we had a bad storm on Long Island, where I'm Deer Park, Long Island, New York, and we know that you're from Chicago. I was asked to do a Celebration of Life memorial. I'm known for Celebration of Life memorials, spiritual rather than religious. And it was out in Port Jefferson. And so what I did is I began to have almost a continual dialogue with God as I was doing that. I'm like, okay, God, you really want me to go out in this snowstorm? Okay, if you want. And as I went out and got there, it was very challenging to get out there and very challenging to get back. But I did it. I made it home, and I was safe. And you know what? I did it without stress. I just knew. I just kept on. And like you said, I was calm in the flow. And I love that. And I'm going to be quoting you, Dr. Empowerment, Stephanie Wilson Coleman, calm in the flow. And then what I found, like you said, I kept reassessing. Well, should I go for a taxi? Should I make a phone call? What should I do next? And I kept getting ideas. And we know that the universe always gives us ideas.
Yes, it does.
Beautiful. Woohoo! Loving you as a guest. Thank you. Now, we have more books. Now, that you were just talking about your second book, Embracing Life's Lessons. What was the first book you wrote, and what prompted you to write it?
The first book, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, was Is Anybody Listening?
Yes.
It just seemed like nobody was listening to me. I was talking. I was spewing out my heart, soul, and no one was listening. And as I started to write, I realized I was the one not listening. Not listening to my inner guide, not valuing that my intuition. And as I started to listen more and more to my intuition, a lot of the situations that I created started to melt away. I would get answers. I would know what to do next. And it's amazing because there's not a requirement for us to fix every problem in our life. There is just a requirement to start. And as you start, you will find that all of the other things that we have created are related and intertwined. And as you just start, some of those other things will just fall away and seem to just fix themselves.
And so then I heard you say that you really weren't honoring yourself. You weren't listening to you. How did you get into the practice of listening to you?
Well, it's nothing like being homeless to have a wake-up call.
Oh, okay.
That's like having a divorce and having your first husband take all of your money as a wake-up call.
Wow.
Some of us need wake-up calls. And you get your call according to the intensity necessary to get your attention.
Oh.
There are those who their attention is easily captured. So they get little bitty things. Like maybe they'll have a flat tire, or maybe they won't be able to pay a bill. But no, I needed a serious wake-up call. I was visited by the cosmic 2x4, and I got it. And at that point, I decided that I needed to listen. In '88, I had a basal skull fracture, and I was supposed to die. And
A
it's
skull? Wait, a skull fracture?
a basal skull fracture.
That's
it's my skull. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And it's nothing like the doctor telling you you're going to die.
Wow.
That will help you clear your plate quickly.
Okay.
Okay, quickly. All of a sudden, you understand that the people who are keeping you stuck don't need an explanation as to why they can't be a part of your life anymore. You just do it. You move out those things that are not serving you very quickly. And once you begin to do that, you do begin to honor yourself, because all of a sudden your focus is different. Now you want to be sure that you have a life that matters and that helps others. And once you make that switch to making sure that you're able to help others, I think that gets you back into the flow of what's important.
Wow. That certainly is motivation, that's for sure. That's some huge motivation. Your most recent book is entitled Be Sure You Dance. That sounds like a book of celebration. Talk to us about that, please.
It is exactly that, a book of celebration. People don't celebrate their successes enough. We're always looking for that big thing to happen before we celebrate, that big thing to happen before we take a day off or take a vacation, when every day you have successes. Our day is filled with successes. As a matter of fact, there's a new scientific study that says that if we start to celebrate everything that we accomplish, and celebrations don't have to be big, but thank you, this was wonderful kind of thing. The more we do that, the more we are conditioning our brain and our mind to go out and to do things that will help us have more successes. So we begin to believe in ourselves more. So I believe that if there's any magic in any moment or in any day, it's in the ordinary days and in the ordinary moments. Stop waiting for that big thing and start finding that wonderful thing to celebrate just in that moment. Sometimes it's watching the snowfall. I like to watch it get dark. That does it for me. I like to watch the moon, or just simply listen to the silence. Just begin to celebrate every single thing. Even the things that look funny or look trying, celebrate those too, because the lessons that you learn will be very valuable.
That's huge, what you just said. Huge, to celebrate everything. That keeps you in the now moment. It evokes an energy of gratitude. That's really beautiful. To celebrate everything. Makes you really it makes you really pay attention.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Very good. And so, how about a little sneak preview? Now, I want to remind the people that your web address is Champagne Connection. I love that, champagneconnection.com. Oh, and you know what I like about your website? Is that as soon as you go into your website, boom, up on the screen, there are some techniques to shift your life right away. Right away.
That's right. One of the things I specialize is what we call no-cost, high-yield techniques to change your life.
Say it again, no cost what?
No cost, high-yield techniques to change your life. So it doesn't cost you anything to actually stop and find something to be grateful for in that moment. It doesn't cost you anything to use your imagination now to envision all of the things that you would like to accomplish in life, all the things that you plan to live. In the upcoming conference, in the Go Rush Women's Conference, I will be talking about how to release the rock star in your billionaire. We talk a lot about money, and a lot of times in the spiritual world, people forget that along with the affirmation comes the action. And as the scripture says, faith without works is dead. So we go over all of the actions. I help you dig up a lot of the emotional yuckiness that's kept you stuck in creating the same kind of financial experience that you have, and to help you move toward a life of being financially independent. I think, of course, that the more money you have, the better you can serve, the more people you can help. And the more people you can help, then the better the vibrations you'll have, and you'll raise other people's vibration, and then we will then have a society that we want to live in.
That was magnificent. I love that. And what a way to make a difference in the world, teaching that message. You know, I gave a talk over at Up High, United Palace House of Inspiration with Bishop Xavier Eichenkotter had me come and speak. And, you know, I kept saying, okay, what should I teach the people? Give me an idea, Spirit. And it came to, you be the one to make a difference. You be the one to be more compassionate. You be the one to be more kind. And you be the one to just to serve. And what a wonderful message that is. I love that. Oh, I'm excited. So I want the people to know they can go to Gold Rush Women's Conference, goldrushwomen'sconference.com. You can find out about it. Quick trip to Chicago, and you're just going to change your life. Check it out. And so you're going to be speaking about money, money, money. Good, good, good. Looking forward to hearing that.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. And I always look for the latest in techniques to share, do a lot of research on just how powerful we are. I think a lot of times we don't create more wealth is because we're stuck in a hangover of what we think we know about what's true about our bodies or in our brains. And we have no idea how powerful we are. We have no idea of the cells that are just sitting there in our DNA that's just waiting for us to give it the command to do what we want it to do.
Woohoo! Okay, well, I'm looking to get rid of the hangover from those past limiting beliefs that may be thwarting and blocking my good, that's for sure. I just want to thank you so much, Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, for joining us on Spirituality Rocks. I want to remind the people that they can go to Champagne Connection and check out your books, and that they can actually pop over to Chicago on March 13th and hear you speak. So, we bless you, we praise you, we appreciate you. Parting word for those of us watching on Spirituality Rocks.
I want everyone to dream big, live the life that they've imagined, and remember, life is too short to drink cheap champagne.
Woohoo! Thank you, Stephanie Wilson-Coleman, so much for being with us on Spirituality Rocks.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Fantastic. I want to just remind everybody, please go to www.spiritualityrockstv.com to see past episodes. Please like us on Facebook. And we have a group and a page, Spirituality Rocks. You can check us out, and you can learn more about spiritual principle. So we will see you live next Thursday. I want to shout out and thank my producers, Janine Zarelli and Tommy Marr at the Madhouse TV studios in Deer Park, Long Island. And remember, the power is within you. Change your thinking and you will change your life. I'm Janine Burns signing off for this episode of Spirituality Rocks.